The massive ships appeared during morning rush hour in New York. Their sudden emergence cast mile-wide shadows across the city, turning day into twilight. Traffic ground to a halt as drivers stepped out of their vehicles, faces turned skyward at the impossible sight above them. Similar scenes played out across every major city on Earth: London, Tokyo, Mumbai, Beijing, and dozens more. The vessels hung in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with an iridescent sheen that seemed to absorb and reflect sunlight in ways that defied physics. Each ship was easily the size of a small city, their design so alien that human minds struggled to comprehend their geometry. They'd made no sound, no movement. They simply waited. In the United Nations Security Council chamber, Secretary General Marcus Chen gripped the edges of his podium, his knuckles white. The emergency session had barely begun when every screen in the room flickered to life. The image that appeared caused several delegates to gasp audibly. High Speaker Zach Still of the Galactic Council filled the displays. The alien's crystalline features caught the light in mesmerizing patterns, but its expression, even on an alien face, was unmistakably one of condescension. When it spoke, its words were perfectly translated into every human language simultaneously. People of Earth, the High Speaker's voice resonated with artificial perfection. The Galactic Council has observed your civilization's development with growing concern. Your recent achievements in faster-than-light travel, while impressive for such a young species, have forced us to accelerate our timeline for intervention. The Security Council chamber remained silent, but Secretary General Chen noticed the Brazilian ambassador typing rapidly on her secure tablet. Good. The protocols were being followed. Your species' history of internal conflict, Zach Still continued, combined with your aggressive expansion into space, presents an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. The Council has voted unanimously. You will surrender your military capabilities, both terrestrial and spatial, and accept protectorate status under Council supervision. In orbit above Earth, the alien ships began to move. Their formation shifted with liquid grace, creating an interlocking network that could easily be recognized as a containment grid. The message was clear: resistance would be futile. You have 6 Earth hours to comply, the High Speaker declared, after which we will initiate a complete quarantine of your solar system. Should you resist, we will be forced to take more direct action. This is not a negotiation. This is the will of the Galactic Council. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the chamber in stunned silence. Secretary General Chen straightened his tie, a gesture that would have seemed absurd given the circumstances, except for the slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, he addressed the council, his voice steady. Please activate your secure terminals and enter authorization code Omega-7 Delta. Confused murmurs filled the room as the delegates complied. Their screens lit up with a simple message: Operation Shadow Shield is now active. Maintain apparent panic. Buy time. In her office at the Pentagon, Admiral Sarah Chen, no relation to the Secretary General, was already in motion. Her seemingly sparse office transformed as hidden panels slid away, revealing a complete command center. Officers materialized from concealed doors, taking their stations with practiced efficiency. Send the activation codes, she ordered, her voice carrying the weight of decades of preparation. All ships, all stations. It's time to show the Council exactly what humanity has been doing for the past 50 years. Deep in the asteroid belt, hidden shipyards began to power up. Stealth fields that had kept them hidden from even the Council's advanced sensors maintained their coverage as thousands of crew members rushed to their posts. The ships they had trained on in secret were about to see their first real combat. Humanity had been preparing for this moment since they first detected the Council's transmissions half a century ago. Every technological advancement they had shown to the galaxy had been carefully crafted to appear primitive, each breakthrough deliberately understated. The Council thought they were facing a young, untested species. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter had always been the perfect hiding place. Billions of rocky bodies, countless electromagnetic disturbances, and natural radiation fields made it nearly impossible to detect anything unless you knew exactly where to look. The Council's ships hadn't even bothered to scan it thoroughly. That was their first mistake. Deep within the Cirrus Shadow Complex, Lieutenant Commander James Rodriguez guided his maintenance skiff through a maze of seemingly random asteroid chunks. To untrained eyes, it looked like natural debris. In reality, each piece was carefully positioned to conceal the largest shipyard humanity had ever built. Authorization confirmed. The AI's voice echoed through his helmet. "Welcome back, Commander." The asteroids ahead of him shifted, revealing a massive cavern carved into Cirrus itself. As his skiff passed through the entry point, lighting strips activated sequentially, illuminating what the Council thought impossible. The TSV Hyperion hung suspended in the center of the cavern, its midnight black hull absorbing nearly all light that touched it. At 2 kilometers long, it was larger than anything humanity had publicly admitted to building. Its design borrowed nothing from conventional Council aesthetics, no sweeping curves or crystalline structures. Instead, it was all sharp angles and purposeful edges, a predator built for war. "All hands to stations," Admiral Chen's voice carried across every communication channel in the complex. "This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." Rodriguez docked his skiff and sprinted toward the bridge access tunnel. Around him, thousands of crew members emerged from hidden quarters, each moving with practiced precision to their assigned posts. They had rehearsed this day for years, but the excitement in the air was palpable. This was real. On the Hyperion's bridge, Admiral Chen stood before the master tactical display. The holographic projection showed hundreds of Council ships forming their containment grid around Earth. Their formation was perfect, their technology supposedly unmatched in the galaxy. "Status report," she commanded. "Dark drive systems at full capacity," her executive officer reported. "Stealth field stable across all vessels." The Council's sensors show only normal asteroid belt activity. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The dark drive was humanity's greatest achievement, a propulsion system that operated in dimensions the Council had never thought to explore. While they had mastered conventional faster-than-light travel, humans had discovered something entirely different. Fleet status. "All ships report ready, Admiral. Strike groups 1 through 7 are in position. Support vessels standing by. Medical and evacuation protocols active, but hopefully unnecessary." The Hyperion's bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, each member focused entirely on their tasks. Years of training showed in every movement, every system check. They knew the next few hours would determine humanity's future in the galaxy. "Message from Earth Command," the communications officer announced. "The Council's ambassadors are growing impatient with our apparent confusion and disarray. They're demanding an answer within the next hour." "Perfect," Chen replied. "Let them think we're paralyzed with fear. Launch status. All ships show green, Admiral. The entire fleet is ready on your command." Chen touched a control panel, and the tactical display zoomed out to show the full solar system. Scattered throughout the asteroid belt were nearly 1,000 ships, each one representing years of secret development and construction. Some were dedicated warships like the Hyperion. Others were specialized support vessels, but all of them incorporated technologies the Council believed impossible for humans to achieve. "Send to all ships," Chen ordered, her voice steady. "Operation Shadow Shield is now entering Phase 2. Prepare for synchronized dark drive jump on my mark." She studied the Council's formation one last time. Their ships were arranged perfectly to prevent any conventional escape from Earth. They had no idea they were about to be caught in humanity's carefully laid trap. "All hands, battle stations," Chen commanded. "Let's show the Council exactly what the children of Earth can do." The lights dimmed across the entire fleet as power diverted to their dark drive systems. In moments, the greatest surprise attack in human history would begin. And the galaxy would never be the same. Dark drive engaged in 3, 2, 1. The asteroid belt erupted in silent fury as nearly 1,000 human ships phased into dimensional space. For a fraction of a second, they existed in a realm beyond normal physics, where distance was merely a suggestion. When they reappeared, they were exactly where the Council least expected them, inside their own formation. On the bridge of the Council flagship, High Speaker Zach Still's crystalline features reflected chaos as warning systems screamed to life. Human vessels materialized between their perfectly arranged ships, appearing in spaces that should have been impossible to reach. Impossible, Zach Still whispered, watching as the tactical display showed human ships literally emerging from nowhere. Their technology is primitive. We monitored their development. We saw what we wanted to see. Admiral Chen's voice cut through every Council communication channel. You should have looked closer at our history. Humans have always excelled at deception. The Hyperion emerged directly above the Council flagship, its midnight black hull now crackling with energy. Across the formation, other human ships took up similar positions, each targeting a specific Council vessel. All ships, execute Battle Plan Delta, Chen commanded. Show them what we can do. The human fleet opened fire simultaneously. But instead of conventional weapons, they unleashed something the Council had never seen before. Focused beams of dark energy, harvested from the same dimensional space that powered their drives, struck the Council's shields. The supposedly impenetrable barriers didn't just fail. They collapsed inward, turning the Council's own defensive energy against their ships. Decades of studying Council technology had taught humanity exactly how their systems worked, and more importantly, how to make them fail. Second wave, commence operation, Chen ordered. Smaller human vessels darted between the larger ships, their specialized weaponry targeting specific systems. They didn't aim to destroy, they aimed to disable. On Earth, millions watched through their screens as the mighty Council fleet found itself trapped in its own containment formation. The human ships moved with impossible precision, their crews executing maneuvers that looked more like a deadly dance than traditional space combat. You forget, High Speaker, Chen continued, her voice carrying across all frequencies. Humanity spent centuries fighting itself before reaching the stars. We learned warfare in ways your species never had to. Every conflict taught us something new. Every battle made us stronger. The Hyperion sensors picked up emergency transmissions from the Council fleet. Their ships were losing power, their advanced systems falling to carefully planned human attacks. Not a single vessel had been destroyed. That wasn't the plan. Instead, they were being systematically neutralized. Final phase, Chen commanded. Boarding teams, you have go. From the bellies of the larger human ships, specialized boarding craft launched. They carried teams of soldiers equipped with technology specifically designed to counter Council security systems. As they approached their targets, Council internal defenses tried to respond, only to find their systems compromised by viral code that had been waiting dormant since their last routine update from their own network. You believe your technology was secure, Chen explained to the increasingly panicked Council leaders. But we've been in your networks for decades. Every time you scanned our primitive vessels, you were actually downloading our infiltration programs. The boarding teams breached the Council ships with practiced efficiency. Their armor, refined through countless simulated encounters, proved perfectly adapted to Council internal security measures. Within minutes, they secured critical systems across the fleet. High Speaker Zach still found himself surrounded by human soldiers on his own bridge. Their armor was sleek, functional, and completely unlike the ceremonial designs the Council had observed in human military parades. The Council has never been defeated, Zach still stated, his crystalline form trembling slightly. This is unprecedented. That's humanity's specialty, Chen replied through the soldiers' comm systems. We specialize in the unprecedented. Now shall we discuss new terms for our relationship with the Council? Above Earth, the greatest military force in the galaxy had been neutralized in less than an hour. Humanity's first major interstellar battle was over before most people had finished their morning coffee. The galaxy would never underestimate Earth again. The Council's Central Command Facility on Centaurus Prime erupted into chaos as reports flooded in from across their territory. The massive holographic display dominating the chamber showed hundreds of red alert markers, each representing another human victory. "Impossible," Elder Coordinator Vexna muttered, his tentacles writhing in distress. "They're hitting everywhere at once. The logistics alone should be beyond their capabilities." The tactical display told a story that shattered centuries of Council doctrine. Human ships appeared simultaneously in dozens of strategic locations across Council space, using movements that defied conventional naval doctrine. The Council's carefully arranged defensive networks, designed to counter traditional faster-than-light travel, proved useless against the dark drive technology. In the Sirius sector, 3 human vessels danced through a Council patrol fleet. They moved like water flowing around rocks, their maneuvers so precise they seemed to predict where the Council ships would be before they moved. The patrol's formation, unchanged for 3 centuries, fell apart in minutes. New reports from Proxima Station, a junior coordinator announced, his voice trembling. "The humans, they're using gravity itself as a weapon." The display shifted to show a human cruiser performing what should have been impossible. It curved around a gas giant's gravity well, using the planet's own mass to accelerate far beyond normal speeds. The Council ships pursuing it couldn't match the maneuver. Their rigid adherence to established protocols didn't allow for such innovative tactics. Admiral Chen watched these reports from the Hyperion's command center, now fully integrated with the captured Council flagship systems. "Send the Phase 4 signal," she ordered. "Let's show them everything." Across Council space, hidden human installations revealed themselves. Automated defense platforms, stealth monitoring stations, and supply depots emerged from asteroid fields, gas giant rings, and other locations the Council had dismissed as strategically irrelevant. "How long?" High Speaker Zach still asked from his secured quarters. "How long have you been preparing for this?" "Since the first time we detected your transmissions," Chen replied. "We learned everything about you while pretending to stumble through our first steps into space. Every diplomatic mission, every trade delegation, every cultural exchange. They were all opportunities to study your weaknesses." The tactical display showed more human ships emerging from hidden bases. Each vessel demonstrated capabilities that the Council had deemed theoretically impossible. They manipulated gravity fields, phased through solid matter, and performed maneuvers that made their ships seem more like organisms than machines. "Your military history," Zach still realized, his crystalline form dimming with understanding. "We studied it, but we dismissed it as primitive." "That was your mistake," Chen confirmed. "You saw our conflicts as a sign of barbarism. You never considered that each war taught us something new. Every battle in our history added to our understanding of strategy, tactics, and the psychology of conflict." In the Orion sector, a single human vessel demonstrated this expertise. It led a Council pursuit fleet into an elaborate trap, using their own rigid tactical doctrine against them. The Council ships, following their standard pursuit protocols, flew directly into a field of gravity mines that had been hidden in a stellar dust cloud. "Look at their movement patterns," one Council analyst observed, his professional interest temporarily overriding his alarm. "They're using combat techniques from their historical naval battles, but adapted for 3-dimensional space." The Council's military command was forced to watch as centuries of assumed superiority crumbled in hours. Human ships continued to appear across their territory, not to destroy, but to demonstrate just how thoroughly they had prepared for this moment. "We protected the galaxy for 10,000 years, Zach still stated, watching another Council fleet surrender to a numerically inferior human force. "We maintained order through suppression and force," Chen countered. "But there are better ways to maintain peace. Perhaps it's time for the Council to learn from those you dismissed as children." Across the galaxy, younger species watched in amazement as humanity dismantled the Council's military supremacy. The message was clear. The age of Council dominance was over, and a new era was about to begin. The Council's central archives on Proxima II had stood untouched for millennia. Its crystalline spires housed the accumulated knowledge of 100 civilizations, protected by security systems that were considered unbreakable. Yet on this day, human soldiers walked its halls unopposed, their footsteps echoing through chambers that had never known unauthorized visitors. Lieutenant Sarah Martinez led her team through the archive's main data core, their specialized equipment interfacing seamlessly with Council technology. "Command, you're not going to believe this," she reported, watching as centuries of classified information flooded their secure channels. The infiltration was even more successful than we thought. Admiral Chen's hologram materialized beside her, examining the streams of data. "Show me," she ordered, her expression intent. "Every trade mission we sent," Martinez explained, pulling up relevant files, "every diplomatic exchange, every cultural representative. They weren't just gathering intelligence. They were planting sleeper programs in the Council's networks. Each interaction added another layer to our infiltration." The data painted a picture of patience and meticulous planning that even Chen hadn't fully grasped. Human scientists, disguised as earnest students of Council technology, had spent decades asking exactly the right questions while appearing to ask entirely wrong ones. "Look at this," Martinez highlighted a particular section. "Remember that failed attempt to understand Council shield harmonics 5 years ago? Our researchers weren't failing. They were secretly mapping the entire defensive network's frequency patterns." In the Hyperion's command center, Shen shared the discoveries with the captured Council leadership. High Speaker Zach Still's crystalline form darkened with each revelation. "The trading post incident in the Rigel sector," Chen pointed out. "When our merchants supposedly caused a major power fluctuation, they were actually testing our override protocols for your emergency systems." "Impossible," one Council elder protested. "Our security protocols were perfect. We had layers of protection, redundancies, all based on the assumption that younger species think like you do." Chen interrupted. "You never considered that we might approach problems differently. Every time you dismissed us as primitive, you handed us another opportunity to prove you wrong." The archives revealed the true extent of human preparation. Hidden bases had been constructed in supposedly uninhabitable zones. Supply cages had been established in quantum spaces the Council had never thought to examine. Even the Council's most secure communication channels had been compromised by human quantum entanglement devices, disguised as decorative gifts during diplomatic exchanges. "Your entire defense network," Martinez reported, accessing another secure section, "was mapped by probes we disguised as space debris. You were so confident in your superiority that you never thought to question why that debris moved in such precise patterns." The Council representatives watched in stunned silence as humanity's deception unfolded before them. Every apparent technological stumble had been carefully choreographed. Every diplomatic misstep had been precisely calculated. Even their seemingly primitive ships had been designed to conceal their true capabilities. "Here's the most interesting part," Chen noted, highlighting a particular data stream. "Your own cultural analysis protocols worked against you. You were so convinced that younger species would follow predictable development patterns that you never looked deeper." The archives showed how humanity had used the Council's own prejudices as a weapon. The humans had studied how the Council had suppressed other emerging civilizations and had designed their entire technological development to appear to follow those same patterns, while actually pursuing a completely different path. "We learned from Earth's history," Chen explained to the silent Council leaders. "Every successful resistance movement, every guerrilla campaign, every asymmetric warfare strategy. They all taught us that appearing weak can be the greatest strength." Martinez and her team continued their work in the archives, uncovering layers of human infiltration that even most of Earth's leadership hadn't known about. The deception hadn't just been aimed at the Council. It had been hidden from humanity itself, compartmentalized to ensure its success. The galaxy's oldest civilization had just learned a harsh lesson from its youngest member. True power lies not in the strength you show, but in the strength you hide. The secure data core beneath the Council's primary chamber on Centaurus Prime held secrets that had remained buried for millennia. As human technicians breached its final firewalls, the truth began to emerge in streams of encrypted data. Each decrypted file revealed a darker picture of the Council's 10,000 years of supposed protection. Lieutenant Commander Wei Chen, head of Earth's Cyber Intelligence Division, stood before the massive holographic display, his expression grim as he presented the findings to Admiral Chen and the assembled human leadership. The Arcanar incident wasn't a natural disaster, he reported, projecting the recovered files. The Council deliberately triggered their sun's instability when their technological development accelerated too quickly. An entire civilization, lost because they were advancing faster than the Council deemed acceptable. Admiral Chen watched the Council representatives' reactions carefully. Some showed shame, others defiance, but most displayed only resignation. They had lived with these secrets for so long, they had forgotten to question them. The Proxima Containment Protocol, Wei continued, pulling up another file. Officially listed as a quarantine to protect a developing species. In reality, it was a deliberate suppression of their quantum computing breakthroughs. The Council feared they would achieve artificial intelligence before the older races. The evidence was undeniable. For 10,000 years, the Council had presented itself as the galaxy's protectors, while systematically ensuring no younger civilization could ever challenge their authority. Their methods ranged from subtle technological sabotage to engineered natural disasters. The pattern is consistent, Wei explained, highlighting data points across a galactic timeline. Any civilization that showed signs of developing technology along unexpected paths was immediately contained. Those who refused containment faced manufactured catastrophes that set their development back centuries. High Speaker Zach Still, watching from his secured quarters aboard the Hyperion, finally spoke. You cannot understand the burden of protecting galactic stability. The younger races were never given a chance to prove themselves. Admiral Chen interrupted. You claim to protect them while ensuring they could never grow beyond your control. The next revelation struck like a thunderbolt. The data showed that humanity hadn't been the first species to attempt resistance. Others had tried, yet their stories had been erased from galactic history. Their worlds were now listed as uninhabited, their civilizations recorded as victims of natural disasters or internal conflicts. The Centauri Matrix, Wei revealed, accessing the most heavily encrypted files. A network of quantum sensors designed to detect and monitor any civilization approaching technological benchmarks the Council deemed threatening. Earth was scheduled for intervention 5 years ago, but our deliberate technological misdirection confused their metrics. The human leadership watched as decades of Council reports on Earth scrolled past. Each document showed how thoroughly humanity had deceived their observers, presenting an image of chaotic, uncoordinated development while secretly preparing for this very moment. Your containment protocols, Admiral Chen addressed the Council representatives, were based on the assumption that all younger species would develop along predictable paths. You never considered that one might deliberately appear to follow your expected patterns while actually pursuing a completely different direction. The final files revealed the Council's ultimate contingency plan, a network of automated systems designed to trigger astronomical disasters if their authority was ever truly threatened. But humanity had already located and neutralized these systems during their years of secret preparation. We're broadcasting this data across all frequencies, Wei announced. Every suppressed civilization, every contained species, they're all learning the truth about their supposed protectors. The Council chamber erupted in protests and denials, but the evidence was irrefutable. Centuries of careful manipulation and control were exposed to the light of truth. Across the galaxy, younger civilizations that had long chafed under Council restrictions began to stir with newfound hope. The age of suppression is over, Admiral Chen declared. her voice carrying to every corner of Council space. It's time for all species to have the chance to reach their full potential. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity had lit the spark of revolution with knowledge rather than weapons. The Great Hall of the Centaurus Prime Diplomatic Center had never hosted such a diverse gathering. Representatives from 50 species filled the chamber, some council races, others from previously suppressed civilizations. At the center of it all stood Admiral Chen, her dress uniform a stark contrast to the ornate robes of the council delegates. "We're not here to replace one form of control with another," she began, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. "Humanity has no desire to become the new council. Instead, we propose something unprecedented. True cooperation." A holographic displays activated, showing a new model of galactic organization. Gone were the rigid hierarchies of the council era, replaced by an interconnected network of civilizations, each contributing their unique strengths and perspectives. "The Proxima Protocol," Chen continued, "will establish technology-sharing programs between all willing species. No more artificial barriers, no more suppression of innovation. Each civilization's advances will benefit all." The Sirius delegation, their bioluminescent forms pulsing with interest, spoke first. "Your fleet could dominate the galaxy. Why offer partnership instead of demanding submission?" "Because humanity's strength comes from diversity and cooperation," Chen explained. "Our history taught us that forcing compliance only breeds resistance. True stability comes from mutual respect and shared progress." From their section of the chamber, the Rigel representatives displayed data streams showing their own suppressed technological achievements. "The Council claimed our quantum research was too dangerous to pursue. Will you place similar restrictions?" "No," Chen replied firmly. "But we will share our safety protocols, our containment methods, and our emergency responses. Your research will proceed with the combined safety experience of 50 species backing it up." The proposal sparked intense discussion throughout the chamber. Younger species, long held back by council restrictions, saw opportunities for rapid advancement. Older races recognized the potential benefits of fresh perspectives on ancient problems. Lieutenant Commander Wei Chen, monitoring the chamber's quantum security systems, detected messages racing between previously suppressed civilizations. Unlike the Council's rigid communication protocols, these exchanges flowed freely, already forming new connections and possibilities. "Each species will maintain its sovereignty," Admiral Chen continued. "The new Federation will focus on cooperation, not control. Our combined fleet will defend all members equally, not enforce compliance." The Antarian delegation, their crystalline forms shimmering with skepticism, raised the crucial question. "And the council races, what role do you envision for them?" "Their knowledge and experience remain valuable," Chen answered, "but they must accept a fundamental change. They will be partners, not rulers. Their wisdom will be respected, but not treated as absolute law." High Speaker Zach Still, now speaking as an equal rather than a superior, addressed the chamber. "We feared chaos would consume the galaxy without our control. Perhaps we were wrong." The holographic displays shifted to show the first joint project, a massive research station where scientists from all species would work together. Its design incorporated architecture and technology from dozens of civilizations, symbolizing the new era of cooperation. "Earth's history showed us that diversity drives innovation," Chen explained. "When different perspectives combine, breakthroughs happen." The Council sought uniformity. "We seek harmony in difference." As the delegates debated the details, messages of support flooded in from across the galaxy. Species that had never dared to communicate directly now reached out to each other, sharing centuries of hidden knowledge and suppressed discoveries. "The transition won't be easy," Chen acknowledged. "Centuries of restriction have left deep scars. But together, we can build something greater than the Council ever imagined." The chamber erupted in discussion as the implications became clear. This wasn't just a new political arrangement. It was a fundamental shift in how galactic civilization would function. The age of suppression was ending, and an era of unprecedented cooperation was beginning. Humanity had not only freed the galaxy from Council control, they had shown it a new way forward. 1 year after the Council's failed ultimatum, the galaxy had transformed. The massive space station Unity Prime rotated serenely above Earth, its spiral arms housing research facilities and diplomatic quarters for representatives from over 100 species. What had begun as humanity's resistance to suppression had blossomed into an unprecedented age of cooperation. Admiral Chen stood at the observation deck, watching ships from dozens of civilizations dock at the station. Each vessel represented a different approach to space travel, from the crystalline structures of Council designs to the organic ships of the Sirius Alliance. The diversity that the Council had feared had become the galaxy's greatest strength. The latest reports from the Joint Research Initiative. Admiral, Lieutenant Commander Wei reported, projecting a holographic display. The combination of Antarian crystal tech with human dark drive theory has produced something remarkable. The display showed test results that would have been impossible a year ago. When species were finally free to share their knowledge, the pace of advancement had accelerated beyond anyone's predictions. Problems that had stumped individual civilizations for centuries were being solved by combining different technological approaches. The Council was right about one thing, High Speaker Zach still observed, his crystalline form now modified with human-designed quantum interfaces. Unrestricted development did change the galaxy, but not in the way we feared. The station's central chamber hosted the newly formed Federation Council, where representatives from all species gathered to share discoveries and coordinate joint ventures. The rigid hierarchy of the old council had been replaced by rotating leadership and merit-based project management. The Proxima Research Center reports success in their gravity manipulation trials. Wei continued. They've combined council gravitics with human dimensional theory to achieve precise control over space-time curvature. The implications for travel and energy production are enormous. Chen smiled, remembering how the Council had once dismissed human theories about dimensional physics as primitive speculation. Now those same theories were revolutionizing galactic technology. The Federation's ships could traverse distances that the Council had considered impossible to cross. We're detecting transmissions from the galaxy's edge, a communications officer announced. Another previously unknown civilization, responding to our open contact protocols. They'd been hiding from Council detection for centuries. This had become a regular occurrence, as word spread about the Council's fall and the new era of cooperation. Hidden civilizations emerged from self-imposed isolation. Each brought new perspectives and technologies to share with the galactic community. The Terran fleet has evolved as well. We noted, showing footage of the latest joint training exercises. Ships from multiple species now train together, combining their unique tactical approaches into something entirely new. The fear and mistrust that had dominated galactic relations had been replaced by mutual respect and shared purpose. In the station's diplomatic wing, representatives from younger species worked alongside former Council races, their combined experience tackling challenges that neither could have solved alone. The Council's accumulated knowledge, freed from restrictions, proved invaluable when combined with fresh perspectives. We've approved the expansion of the Unity Network, Chen announced to the assembled representatives. By next year, we'll have similar stations in every major sector. No species will be isolated or suppressed again. The holographic displays showed the planned network, massive stations that would serve as hubs of research, commerce, and cultural exchange. Each would be built using technology and designs from multiple civilizations, physical embodiments of the new cooperative philosophy. Humanity's greatest victory, Zach still reflected, wasn't defeating the Council. It was showing us a better way to exist together. As the Earth rotated below, its night side glittering with lights, Chen thought about how far they had come. The Council's ultimatum, intended to suppress humanity, had instead sparked a revolution of cooperation that transformed the galaxy. The children of Earth had not only proven their worth, they had helped create a future brighter than anyone had imagined possible. In the end, humanity's greatest weapon hadn't been their hidden fleet or advanced technology. It had been their ability to imagine and work toward a better future, one where diversity was strength and cooperation trumped control. The galaxy had entered a new golden age, and it was only the beginning.